Hey guys, Chris Timms here. Let's talk about The Spark Within 1 year later. So if you need a little bit of an introduction, The Spark Within is my third solo album, and it's actually 1 year old today. And I'm absolutely stoked. My first initial reaction when I found out that it was coming up to the date this week was that I can't believe that 1 year has rolled by so quickly in many ways. It feels like I released the album yesterday. And another part of me actually, it feels like I also released the album a long time ago. It's a little bit of a weird feeling. I actually listened to the album, it was roughly about 4 or 5 weeks ago now. And it was the first time I'd listened to it since I released the album. And I guess in many ways, I always feel kind of vulnerable listening to my own work in many ways. And I think that's a very common thing among many artists, is that they don't necessarily like listening to their own work. And so I don't make a habit of doing it very often. I would rather listen to other artists in a lot of my spare time. And so as I was going through the album, that critical hat started coming on in many ways. So I was listening to the music, and it's like, oh, I probably should have done a second or third take on this, or I could have mixed this a little bit differently. That guitar solo works, but I probably could have done better, and I like that vocal take here, but I don't like this verse. That's a little bit of an insight into how my brain works. There were also many pros that I got out of it, and I've got to say, actually, it was probably one of my more enjoyable listening experiences of my own music, because I listened to it from start to finish, and I had no desire to turn the album off. So that's always a good sign if you're not turning an album off, I think. I quite like some of the songs, actually. With this album, it was really one of those albums where it's something that I have been trying to make for many, many years. My previous solo albums, The Second Chapter and The Journey Home, had some great ideas, but I think with The Spark Within, I really started honing in on what I was actually trying to deliver. It was a massive task, as it has been trying to do these solo albums, because as I'm working on a much tighter budget, I'm basically doing a lot of the things myself. So that also includes all the performances, all the songwriting, the artwork, down to the production side of things, the mixing, the mastering, just about everything. If you've undertaken any projects like this yourself before, you know that there's thousands and thousands of dollars that go into it. So you try and save yourself money wherever you can with these projects. But I did have some help on this album too, and these people are just great friends of mine as well. Michael Telford did the video for You Are My World, and that was a lot of fun. Actually, we went all the way up to Tamborine Mountain and shot a lot of footage up there for that video, and also all the way out at Toowoomba. So we did quite a few Ks, location scouting for the video, and doing the shots. And I think I'd have to check with Michael again, but I'm pretty sure we did all the shooting for that in 2 days. We had a really good run. The weather was great as well, and we managed to get the shots that were needed to do that. So Michael Telford and Jeff Jenner helped out on that, as well as Sarah, who was actually in the video as well. And I think it came up absolutely beautiful. The Spark Within, I did everything myself. That music video was a lot of fun. Getting the camera out and playing around with some video editing software and getting some cool time lapses in and things like that. So that was really cool to experiment with and create that video. It was a lot of fun making this album all around, I think, but it wasn't without its challenges in many ways. And I think, my gosh, I remember last year I was just going out without sleep. Some nights through the week I was working, and then whenever I would finish work for the night, it was basically get straight into mixing for the album, or laying down tracks, or doing something that had to be done with the album. And so I remember it was a struggle to stay healthy during that period of making the album. If you've done anything like this before, taking on a project of this size, you do encounter some struggles. It just comes with the territory. And so you kind of learn to roll with that. It was basically the last 2 tracks of the album, which was Leaving Me and Estranged. And I remember going in and trying to load the session, and they were pretty massive session files. I remember trying to open the program and getting all these error messages. Now, I was really good. I backed everything up onto an external hard drive, everything that I was working on. And so I loaded the hard drive, that external hard drive, and tried to load the session files from there. It just wouldn't work at all. I couldn't get the session from the external. I tried reinstalling the program. I tried a different version of the program. I tried rolling back. I tried rolling back the computer. I tried loading everything onto a different computer altogether. Everything that I was trying, it was just not working. And so what I had to look at doing was starting fresh sessions from scratch. So I reloaded all of those audio files into a new session. And when I finally got to the vocal tracks for those two songs, I realized that the lead vocal tracks were actually missing. And so this, I remember, was about 2:30, 2:45 in the morning, somewhere around there. It was one of those late nights where I was trying to get everything done by certain deadlines. And I looked everywhere. The external hard drives didn't have it. The hard drive that I was working on, the main hard drive, I don't know where they went. They were just gone. I had to retake those vocals, and because I was on a deadline, and I think I was like 3 weeks out from release, and I really needed to get this album over the finish line. So at that time of the morning, I set up my vocal mic, hit record, and then basically did those vocal takes again. So what you're hearing on the album is me singing those songs at 2:45 or 3 o'clock in the morning, which I was so surprised that those vocal takes actually turned out better than expected, because I don't know if you've ever tried to sing at 3 o'clock in the morning, but it's very difficult. I learned a lot on this album, being able to do a lot of things myself, and also being able to bring my friends in, and like Michael, Sarah and Jeff, and work with those guys as well in the music video side of things. It was a great experience. I still like the album in many ways. So guys, thanks for letting me share my thoughts on The Spark Within 1 year later. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, and if you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, make sure you do. There's plenty more videos coming on the way. Thanks for watching again, guys. You're the best, and I'll chat to you soon.